Alrighty, some more daily races in LMU. Mixed multi-class at Sebring. So decided to take the LMP2. Okay, what is this? Click the back button for return to the event. Alright, that was odd. Right, let's get a few bits up and running. Hey Alistair, how are you? Yeah, all good man, all good. Looking forward to this one, kind of getting the LMU bug more and more. Right, let's get that sorted. Now let's go get a few laps.
Okay, Gary, 5 minutes to go, 5 minutes left.
I have a 3 times multiplier on the fuel on this, so what are we, 25 minutes? Expecting 2, maybe 3 stops will be needed over 25 minutes. It's a bit wild, but
Your exit's clear. Your brake temperatures are low. We need to get some heat into them. Blue flag. Yellow flag.
So 4 minutes of practice, we'll get maybe 2 laps in and then straight into the event. Oh shit, understeer. Crap. Jesus, I tell you, it's the cold tyres.
The bodywork's in pretty bad shape. We might need to fix that.
Cold tyres are definitely a thing. It's like once you lose grip on the front coming out of the pits, it's like you're a passenger. Particularly over those bumps as well, it just makes things 10 times worse. Alrighty. Yeah, feeling good about this. I think my pace should be in the 51s, I think. On, you know, warm tyres and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know what other people are going to be able to do.
All clear on pit exit. Incident in Sector 1, yellow flag. Sector 3 is yellow. Green flag, Sector 1.
Turn, turn, turn. Jesus, quite bad, isn't it?
Sector 3 is clear.
Fucking hell. It's going to be hard to see in the sunlight.
Yellow flag, 6th place. Your rear brakes are cold, mate.
Let's try and get a bit of heat into the tyres.
Has gone off. Green flag in Sector 1.
Jesus. There is very little grip. This is going to be a fun race.
Tiny bit of aero damage, just ignore it.
Yeah, alright. Track is very green, clearly. Rather find this out now than in the race, you know. Yeah, it's just as soon as the car leans over, it's like the grip is kind of gone laterally. It's all good though. Once I'm aware of it, that's the main thing. Just style everything back a tiny bit, so drive with margin, drive with a bit of something in the bag.
2 minutes to go, 2 minutes. Cold tyres all round.
It's going to be tough to see in the sunlight coming around some of these corners. Yeah, I think that's how they set it up.
Yellow flag.
Could be something in the settings, mind you. Like, I do have everything on pretty max.
It's green.
Holy shit, like, it is tough to see.
P5.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to see in the race, that's for sure.
Green flag sector 1. That's a new fastest lap for Carlos. 1:57.10.
I think Ore Factor 2, from what I remember, is quite overexposed. I never really got on too well with that game, funny enough.
Your brake temps are good.
I'm sure, like, there's probably a setting I can turn down, maybe.
Checker flag, P4.
Locking disabled.
Yeah, it's tricky to find the apex. Like, you can sort of see a bit of the curb and as you approach the corner, but it is tricky to actually get the turn-in point and stuff. Ah, too wide, too wide. Alright, session over. It's time to join the event. Yeah. Yeah, I think... Yeah, I mean, iRacing graphically is probably not the best to begin with, but yeah, I can imagine on low settings. Alex, the race is 25 minutes, but the fuel is on a 3x multiplier. So, full tank should get us around 6 laps, I think. 7 laps, maybe. So there could be... There'll certainly be 2 pits... Well, will there be 2 pit stops? There'll certainly be...
That's the end of the session, P4.
There'll certainly be a pit stop. The second pit stop, I'm not sure. I think there'll be 2. I think there might be 2 stops. We'll figure that one out as we go along. Slow the old setup.
Locking disabled.
Ooh, it's nighttime. I have to say, though, I do like the night detail in LMU, like the lighting effect, kind of shimmer just around the bulb itself, if that makes sense. It just looks really cool. I think like the lighting effects at night in LMU is probably the best in any of the sim racing titles that we have. Just a small kind of halo effect, I guess, around the light. I don't know if I'm explaining it too well.
Exit's clear. Push. The brakes are cold. Be careful.
Yeah, I used to do a few endurance races, Alex, in ACC, a 24-hour at Spa. 10 was it 12 hours at Watkins Glen, 10 hours at Watkins Glen, something like that.
Checkered flags out.
And Bathurst as well. You know, so yeah, it is kind of beautiful, I guess. Like when you know, racing in dawn, dusk, like it really does add to the immersion, but it's difficult as well. You know, like it is difficult to
That's the end of the session, P10.
Alright, so loaded setup. Okay, my setup is saved, and 3 laps of fuel, 4 laps of fuel, 40 litre. Okay, so we're going through like 10, like around 9.7 litres per lap. That's how aggressive the fuel multiplier is on this. Yeah, I'll have a look into the reshade. I've seen people run reshades and it's kind of like taking away FPS. But then at the same time, like I like to race as the game intends at the same time. Like I seen a video a while ago, I think it was James Baldwin, I think, was racing at night and turned up his monitor to be super bright. And while, yeah, I mean, you can do it, like, there's no rule against it, but I don't know, like, I mean, suppose you're at esport level, fair enough, but as much as possible I try to keep it authentic. But that being said, I think the lighting here was a bit extreme. Like, I don't think, you know, just felt like it was being exposed a little bit too much for sure. Okay, so this first lap will not be representative whatsoever of the qualifying time. Usually I'll expect like a 55, 56 on the opening lap, and then the second lap will be hopefully a 52, maybe a 51. Just the opening lap in cold tyres, like, you just don't want to lock up anywhere and cost yourself a tyre like on the hot lap. Yeah, it is a topic in sim racing, you know, like the cheating, or like, is it cheating if you mishmash the settings to gain an advantage that the game hasn't intended, right? And just because you can do something in the game doesn't mean that you should. And if you think of the definition of cheating, it's gaining an unfair advantage. And if I'm changing settings to gain an unfair advantage, even though I'm not tweaking the physics, I'm tweaking the output, as in what I visually see, to make things easier for me. Is that the same as tweaking physics to make it easier to drive, easier to see, easier to whatever?
You're right.
It's a grey area, that's for sure.
Clear on the right. P3.
I mean, even if I have a little difficulty seeing an apex, I mean, I'm also, like, aware that, you know, like, here I am in nice sim rig with direct drive wheel and load cell pedals. I mean, I'm already very fortunate compared to what a lot of people have to use. So, you know, to further kind of make changes, I don't know. There's a limit, I guess, isn't there, like, of altering, like, what the game wants you to see and what you decide to tweak, change.
Your brake temperatures are fine, mate. We've got cold tyres, we need to get some heat into them. That's 2 minutes left, 2 minutes. Just done at 153.45. Fastest lap for Blackstock, 152.14. Alright, Gary, 5 minutes of fuel remaining, 5 minutes.
Yeah, aggressive drivers, you have to be deliberate and early with your defence. Make it absolutely obvious that you're defending on a particular line. And I find sometimes what's worse is people, like some of these, like, overly aggressive drivers, like, they won't want to give up a position either.
Fastest lap for Tom, 152.08.
This lap is looking to be somewhat decent.
That's the end of the session. P5.
A little bit wide. Okay, Delta's looking very good so far. Oh, P2 by just over 100th. Okay. So the plan for the race strat will be full tank, and then hopefully get away with a short pit stop at the end. Now, when I say short pit stop, see, this is where it's going to get tricky, because I have a feeling like if we look, so I'm just looking at the strategy now, so it's looking like this whole race is going to require a grand total of about 106 litres. 106 to 115, and the reason that there's a 10 litre difference there is because of the fuel multiplier. So if you go 110 litres, yeah, it's going to be full tank of, I think it's what, 63, maybe. Yeah, it purely depends on what the pace is going to be. I don't think anyone's going to be fuel saving on this. I don't think. So let me go and put my setup on. Build the tank 63. Yeah, so this is going to require. Oh, and we have a game crash. Oh, crap. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to get back into this race. Yeah, these game crashes are, yeah, it's one of the reasons why I haven't been streaming much of LMU, is waiting for that on-start at Sebring, thanks to the game crash. Yeah, it was 1 week, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Like my driver rating was silver 2, and I went like 4 or 5 events, all game crashes, and the game crashes alone had me down at like B3 driver rating, so I'd lost essentially like 1.5 ratings directly attributable to the game crashes. This is why I think when LMU like comes out of early access, I wouldn't be against having the driver ratings reset, because it's so inaccurate at the moment. Surely, you know. Here do I have Cirque de Sarthe 488 HIMO setup. Let's go for it. No idea what this drives like. Let's go 44 litres, 6 laps of fuel around Le Mans seems a lot. So.
Locking disabled.
Yeah, you can be quick on any equipment, I think, once you get enough practice in. Yeah, so like there's some like brilliant sim racers out there, like on like what we'd consider to be entry level equipment, and they're still rapid.
Pit exit looks clear. Yellow flag, sector 1. Got cold brakes all round. We think that cruise has gone off in Dunlop chicane.
Used to driving hypercars around this track. Don't think I've done a GTE around here. I've done LMP.
Green flag, sector 1.
I've done hypers. Don't think I've done a GTE around this track.
Sector 3 is now yellow. Green flag, sector 3.
The lighting is deadly though, I have to say. I mean, look at the light diffusions and stuff. Really, really cool. Yeah, awesome.
Air temperature's increasing. It's now 26 Celsius.
The last time I done Le Mans at night was when the game launched. They were doing like special events, like a 2.4 hours of Le Mans on a 10x multiplier.
5 minutes remaining, 5 minutes left.
Yeah, I started when I had the Logitech, and then I went on. I had a Playseat challenge at the time, which was basically like a deck chair setup, and then I upgraded from the Logitech to the Fanatec Club Sport. Was it Club Sport V2 wheelbase?
Incident in sector 1. Sector 1 is yellow.
Club Sport wheelbase, yeah.
It looks like
The belt-driven one.
has been dipped in. The S's.
Not the entry-level Fanatec one, the next one up, but below the direct drive. I think it's Club Sport. But yeah, I had that on the Playseat and the Fanatec CSL load cell pedal, and that was my like. Okay,
Yellow flag.
a lot less stable compared to the hypercar. That's fair enough.
Logging disabled.
Oh, so the GTE needs to be introduced to that corner much gentler compared to the hypercars with the downforce. Yeah, I think a lot of people start with the deck chair and kind of
Car approaching. Don't cross the white line.
like it all works. Like I've done
Sector 1 is green.
like
Blue flag.
hundreds of hours on that setup. Loads of fun races.
Fastest lap for Muirhead, 4:01.9 seconds. Yellow flag in sector 1. Green flag in sector 3. We think Muirhead has binned it. Yellow flag. Sector 2 is now green.
Yeah, at the moment I have triple 1080 resolution.
That's a new fastest lap for Angel, 3:54.1 seconds.
Before that I had the 34-inch
Flag. Caution. Yellow
super
flag,
wide.
Sector 3.
not the super duper ultra wide like the
It's gone off.
Odyssey monitors, but the
Green flag, sector 2. Sector 3 is clear. Green flag. Just 2 minutes left.
forgot to put my lights on. But yeah, since going to triples though, yeah, just more immersion, like, and you get used to it. But I was thinking, like, should I go triple or should I just go like with super ultra wide? given the space I had for triples, although I did still have my reservations. I was like,
Yellow flag.
would a Super Ultrawide be better performance-wise or whatever, but
We can see cruise.
like with the triple 1080s, I'm getting at the moment 108, 115 frames per second, 120 frames per second. So,
Clear left.
yeah, that's on a 3090, so my concern was that if I
Sector 1
went
is
with
clear.
like triple 1440p, it would just be like too much on the graphics card, you know. No, the bezel isn't hidden, so I'm using the Nvidia screen adjuster thing, Nvidia Surround. But I probably will go for a bezel kit, but at the moment, no, I don't have it. But it is important though that, you know, you adjust, the car doesn't feel right into that corner whatsoever.
Yellow flag, watch out.
This is going to be a problem in the race.
You've had quite a lot of aero damage. You might need to come in and get it fixed.
Yeah, that corner, it's like I really need to back off. Just the whole car just heaves too much. Right, let's okay, so what's a 405? I don't know if is that good pace, is that what we need to do? Well, let's jump back and wait for this event to kick off then.
That's the end of the session. P5.
It's interesting, that's like 2 crashes. Let me just pull up the task manager just to see like how the performance is being used or not used. Because it's just quite odd to have repeated crashes like that. Let's just have a look at so there's my setup at the moment, right? So memory like 40%, so I've got 64 gigs of RAM. We're in qualifying shit, right? Let's throw 2 laps of fuel in.
Logging disabled.
Oh, and now the wheelbase is turned off, of course. Shit.
That's the end of the session. P18.
On exit, exit, exit. Yeah, the reason I had to turn off the wheelbase was when the game crashed, there was still torque going through the wheel. But we should get back in time to get qualifying lap in, I think. This is the I don't know if it's like, so I use OBS for streaming, right, which fine. And to be fair, right, when I haven't been streaming, the game hasn't crashed to my knowledge, right, but by the same token, like I've streamed like countless hours, recorded countless hours of video content and stuff on other sims like ACC, AMS2, you know, all of them basically, but the only one causing problems is LMU. And then like from a resource perspective, like PC is quite it's quite beefy. Like, I mean, 64 gigs of RAM, CPU is like what, 23% utilized.
Logging disabled.
So I don't think we're going to get a lap in qualifying here. Oh man. It's got 2 laps of fuel. Start driving, but
Logging disabled.
I don't think it's, yeah, sure, about 3 minutes left. The hypercar takes what, 3 minutes 20 odd to get round, so there's more driver rating thrown away. Yeah, and I think this is why I was saying earlier, like that when this game gets released officially as a V1, that
Watch the white line.
I think the driver rating should be reset.
Brakes are cold. Take it easy.
Safety rating I don't mind because like either you're safe or you're not, but driver rating, like you have people finishing higher than where they otherwise should have and lower where they should have been as well, and you know, I just think it would be all over the place.
That's barely a scratch, mate. Just ignore it.
I mean, just while we're going down the straight here, right, just to show, there's my task manager. So we're sitting like at 25 gigs
2 minutes to go. 2 minutes.
of memory being used out of 63. Yeah, it's just odd. It's just it's. I mean, it could be GPU, like if streaming is an issue, but like when you look at the GPU usage, like what, 82%? Doesn't make sense. Alright, this will be an interesting race then. And I just hope the game doesn't crash again, because, yeah. If it does, I think, probably just put an end to the stream, because, yeah, I don't want, like, you guys hanging on, and then just being here for another game crash. Let's see, we'll give it a shot though.
The end of the session, B19.
So I don't practice. I usually, like after work most days. Now I'm off work this week, but I took a week holiday, so I'm doing just a little bit more LMU in the day, like, but nothing major. But usually I finish work in the evening. I'm on LMU at about maybe 7. I do maybe an hour and a half while the kids are at their dance lessons. So I get like maybe 10 minutes into practice session, a couple of qualifying laps, and then the race itself. Really, that's it. Like years, well, I won't say years ago, but back when I used to do league racing and ACC and stuff like that, I would kind of do a bit more practice for the upcoming track that we were racing that week. But for LMU, like I don't bother. Not in its current state. Like the game is not stable enough for me to put significant practice time investment in at the moment, to be perfectly honest. Now, if and when the game becomes more stable, and we start doing like online championships with that subscription model that they're talking about, then if it got stable, I'd do a bit of practicing during the week maybe. But I don't see putting huge amounts of time into it. The thing with practice in sim racing is that it becomes a it becomes like a dead end in terms of it can become consuming at a certain point. You end up chasing like the last 10th or the last 2 tenths because the guy in the league that you're racing with has gone 2 tenths faster, and you might spend like an hour plus looking for 1/10. And yeah, it's just it's it gets to a point where you kind of think, right, likely got better things to be doing than to be doing that, you know. So there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just you know, it's a huge time investment, or it can become a huge time investment. Yeah, Alistair, I think, yeah, just seen your message there, so I think the brake bias on this, yeah, I'll chuck it forward a little bit. Feels more on the suspension side though. The car feels quite soft. It's like these things where all right, the car could be soft or stiff or whatever way the car is, right, but without kind of doing enough practice to actually get the car around the track safely, you're probably going to struggle, you know, and I think I'm finding that now a little bit, where I'm just going to have to back off a tiny bit. But yeah, it's just starting dead last. I don't mind that, to be honest. I don't mind starting last in this one because I just don't know enough about the track and car combo. And, you know, add to the fact that it's night. But look at the gap. I mean, we've got the pole and then down to 14th, like 8.5 seconds of a gap. And I've no idea, by the way, where I would fit into this field. I've no idea. I'd like to think top 10, but again, no idea. Alright, so 22 minutes. Oh, no idea how much fuel is going to be needed. .22 minutes, and what's a 4-minute lap, so we're looking at, oh, put in 6 laps of fuel. We got 6 laps. Say 4-minute lap. 24 minutes. We'll go an extra lap just to be sure. Can't change anything on the car. Change tires even. Well, temperature's what, 20 degrees, track 26 air. Suppose we'll just leave softs. Let's go.
Disabled.
The balance between family, work, sim racing. No, I mean, I'd like to do more sim racing, of course, but yeah, not always. I mean, it's like I would work, like, you know, typical 9 to 5, 9 to 6. I do work from home, so like I'm lucky in that sense. But my schedule at work just be busy that I can't jump onto the rig during the day. Then, you know, the kids come home from school, wife comes home from work, then, you know, an hour later, like 5, 6 o'clock, they're out at dance lessons. So it's usually between 6 and maybe 8 that I can jump on the rig some days. It wouldn't be every day, probably 3, 4 days a week if I'm lucky. And I might get maybe a race in, and then sometimes I'll go back for a late session, maybe, you know, 10:30 till maybe midnight on some occasions. But yeah, it's not as much as I'd like, you know, because it does take practice to be really competitive. I mean, some of the boys at the front, I mean, especially the esport guys, I mean, they're, you know, they probably don't, like, not all of them, I'm generalizing here, but a lot of them maybe don't have a full-time job to worry about, or they don't have a family and kids. And, you know, I find what you put into sim racing or any kind of hobby for that matter, like, is down to what free time people have, and it's going to be different for everybody. But yeah, getting the balance, it's tricky. Like, family and work obviously get priority, and then, yeah, whatever's left then, if, you know, free time then is sim racing. So. But then, like, if the family go away, like, or if the kids go on a dance competition trip or something, which they often do, then, like, I could have a complete weekend to myself where I'd just do a lot more sim racing, you know, and that sort of thing. But I think over time, like, when you pick up experience with sim racing in general, like racing, driving a car and whatever, you tend to be able to get onto pace pretty quickly.
car right. He's still with you. He's still there. Right side's clear. Yellow flag in sector 1. Car on your left side. Hold your line. Keep your line. Clear on the left. On your left. He's still with you. Clear left. Well done, Gary. There's a guy on your left. He's still with you. Still there. Still there. And still there. Left side's clear. Far left. He's still there. He's still there. Still there. Keep your line. Still there. Still there. Still there. Keep your line. Left side's clear.
No, not really. The YouTube thing was more of a extension of the hobby, to be honest. There's no real. I mean, I won't say there's no career in YouTube. I mean, oh shit, outbreak myself. To get like, you know, any meaningful income off YouTube, I mean, you'd need like tens of thousands of views. Like, to put it in perspective, right? My monthly ad revenue from YouTube is, you know, probably at 10 euros or something, if even that. You know, if you're a channel like with, you know, hundreds of thousands of subscribers and viewers and all of that, then, you know, you're getting enough ad views that, or not enough ad views, you're getting enough clicks on videos that the ad revenue, you know, it's a volume play at that stage. But like most sim racing channels, like, you know, yeah, like, it certainly wouldn't be enough to earn a living off or anything like that. But I would use it just for, like, you know, gets you a cup of coffee every month or something. That's all good with me. It's certainly a case like that. The effort that goes into the channel, like certainly at the size that this channel is, and similar channels, I'm sure, like the effort that goes in far outweighs any gains to come back to you. You know, like, I mean, I guess when you're a YouTube channel that starts off, like, you're looking at that 1,000 subscriber goal because that's when you get monetized. And then you get monetized at 1,000 subscribers, and then you think, okay, I've got €3 for the month from YouTube. And yet you would have sunk, like, literally hundreds of hours into creating content and editing content, and, you know, some people then would go and buy, you know, microphones to have better sound and all sorts of accessories for the stream. So it becomes a case where, like, what you put into it, you don't get out from a financial perspective. But what I like about the whole streaming thing, like, is just having fun, sharing the hobby of sim racing, like, with like-minded people, and that's what it's all about for me. That's why I don't have, like, subscriber tiers on the channel, and I don't have paywall stuff, and I never will. Like, I don't agree with that shit. Like, it's just not me. Like, I know some channels have, like, you know, subscription-only content and whatever, and that's fine. Like, if that's their job, if YouTube is their, you know, a good source of income for them, and that's well and good for them. That's, you know, not for me to decide. But I can only speak, I guess, from my personal perspective on it. But yeah, it does take a lot of effort to build up, like, views and subscribers and stuff like that.
There's a guy on your right. Hold your line. He's still there.
Sounds like another game crash. Right, my whole screen just froze completely.
Incident in sector 2, yellow flag, rear left puncture. You've had a bit of bodywork damage. Stay out, it's not too bad.
Okay, so my whole screen froze up there. And
Cut the track, keep it nice and tidy.
second monitor up froze as well. Let me see, can I get that back on?
Green flag, sector 2. We think Dwyer's has crashed in Michelin chicane.
That was so strange. Screen glitched again. Okay.
Okay, hit stop requested. The pit crew's ready.
Yeah, there's just so many little gremlins, and now the mouse is on the screen as well, which is so strange.
Yellow flag. Okay, Gary, 15 minutes left. That's 15 minutes. Sector 3 is clear. Green flag. We can see Ludo has spun off.
Now it says here I've got a rear left puncture, but
Ludo.
it doesn't feel like I do. Yeah, so here is the there's the second monitor up. You see the bottom left or the rear left wheel is flashing like red, as if it's got thermal damage. So don't know what that's all about, and I just feel that I don't know, it's so frustrating. It's like anytime I go to stream LMU, it's just kind of seems to be still crashing quite a lot.
Sector 3, yellow flag. We think Tim has crashed. Sector 3 is now clear.
No, the downside is for Studio 397 and all of this
Ludo
is that
in front is pitted.
when people are streaming the game like me and other people as well, it's kind of like free advertising for the game. It's kind of like but then like the downside is that you're like, oh, like I can't stream this because, like, why would you bother if the game just crashes consistently? Just take off the tires. We don't want to change them.
We're done. Go, go.
It's the rear left. Don't want any change. So the PC, the whole PC, Steve, is 2 years old. 2 years, maybe 3 years. 3 years at most. Yeah, I mean it's.
Okay, Gary, that's half distance. Fuel levels are fine.
I mean it's spec'd really well. I mean there's, like dedicated storage for games on one NVMe drive. The hard drive is an NVMe drive as well. I've got another 256 gig NVMe and a Samsung SSD, 64 gigs of DDR5 Corsair RAM,
It takes
and
need to get some heat into these brakes.
what else? It's 12900K i9 12900K and a 3090 graphics card. So system is pretty strong, like my guess it's a software conflict somewhere with LMU and possibly OBS, but given how unstable LMU is in general, I'm kind of leaning towards that.
The guy in front is Tim.
Yeah, I might look into that, doing a reinstall. Like, it doesn't happen with any other game. That's the only thing that stops me from doing the the reinstall of Windows and stuff. And I've only ever used this PC for sim racing. Like, there's very little else on it. Like, I mean, I have what, OBS for video content creation, streaming, Photoshop on there for like creating YouTube
Mark.
thumbnails and stuff. Nothing too crazy. Microsoft Office, that's it really. But yeah, I do take your point. Like, I could still like be filling up with kind of shit that you don't need. Yeah, I mean, since I downloaded the new Nvidia driver early last week, I had no crashes for the week, right? As soon as I started then to stream yesterday and today, I've had a total of, I'm going to say about 4, maybe 5 crashes in total. Each time OBS was running. That's the only difference. So that's why I'm thinking, like, it's a software conflict somewhere.
Stay on it. This isn't over yet.
Yeah, I might be convinced, alright, to do a clean install. Like, all of the important stuff I have on my OneDrive, so it won't be the end of the world completely, but
we think that Joseph has stacked it in Dunlop Chicane. Sector 1 is green.
no DLSS on this one.
The guy ahead is Joseph.
It'd be cool if they had it. I mean, I mean, I don't necessarily need the FPS. It's more just to take load off the GPU, because something is. I'm convinced it's the GPU somewhere is not happy with something. The reason I say that is because when I had all of the major crashing a couple of weeks ago, this was before the new Nvidia driver. God, I'm driving awfully here. But I was doing like literally an offline practice session in Imola. Not streaming it, nothing like that, and just offline myself on the track, nobody else, no AI, nothing. And I had like 5 game crashes in 30 minutes. So what I done then was I downloaded the latest driver, cleared out the shader cache, suffered another few crashes even after that, but this time round, or that time round, I set the shader cache limit on the drive to unlimited, and the shader cache like grew to like almost 2 gigabytes, and ever since I've had no game crashes until running OBS here. And I'm on the latest version of OBS, so maybe it's an OBS thing. And I know Yarnay Simincic, who's in this race as well, he's had a few crashes on his streams lately too, so yeah, I can only assume that there's something maybe on the rendering side, whether it's GPU based or something, that's just not playing nice. And I know from submitting like one of the dump files, like the general feedback I got from the development team was that there was a Marshall post being rendered, and then the thing was like confused or whether or not to render the thing, and you know, there was a few dump files submitted, and basically I was told all of the crashes were random, but yet they all had a common theme, which was rendering in some way, shape or form. So that's why I'm kind of thinking that there's something kind of off with how this stuff is getting rendered to the, well, maybe what's being asked of the GPU driver is not super clean, and then when you factor in OBS on top of that trying to stream at the same time, it's like, I don't know, maybe there's a conflict somewhere.
Fastest lap for Hakkinen, 3:53.4 seconds.
Another game crash. Another game crash. Real release to torque. Here we go. Yeah, this is odd. It must be an OBS thing, guys. I think. Because it's only when I'm streaming that I'm getting this. I'm wondering, is there, I don't know, is there something to do with the upload, download, and server connections and stuff? Because I know this caused like mayhem for the virtual Le Mans like a year or two ago, didn't it? Or during COVID or whatever, where there was lots of disconnects and stuff, and I just wonder, is it server side? Something server side causing it? I don't know. Yeah, I think so, Steve. It does look like it's OBS. But I could, you know, and I've streamed like, well, probably not hundreds, but I've streamed like, you know, scores of hours of other sims, you know, like ACC mainly, and it's been totally fine. But yeah, it does look, I'd say it sounds like there's a conflict of some kind with OBS. I don't know if OBS is the problem itself, but there's something not right, and I do agree with you. It is pointing to to OBS for sure. What I might do is pop that onto the Discord, because I'm I'm confident now, like beyond any doubt, that, you know, since streaming last night and tonight, because I purposely haven't streamed this game for the last month or so because of the game crashes. But now, since I've been back streaming, when I thought I had system stability, the game is actually consistently crashing now with OBS running. So maybe that might point the developers in the right direction, because, you know, you know, again, I'm thinking out loud, like, what does OBS use to stream? Well, the graphics card. What does LMU need to display stuff? The graphics card. And then my dump files had like rendering, like hints of rendering issues in the dump file. Is LMU demanding, like, in that sense? Yeah, like RF2 LMU demanding software. I would have thought ACC was very demanding, because, like, you know, the Unreal 4 engine, and, you know, that would cripple. I mean, like, I remember loading up a full grid on Kota in Dusk, and ACC, like, I used to get like 100 and, at the time at least 140, 150 frames. But yeah, with the full grid it would bring it down to like 60, 65, and the graphics card would be, or well, the CPU mainly would be on overtime, because, you know yourself, like, physics calculations usually are single thread. So yeah, the CPU like didn't get a day off at all. But yeah, like I say, I'm confident beyond much doubt that OBS now is causing these crashes. Interestingly, look, when I turn off the wheel and turn the wheel back on, it's like there's still a green light on my Fanatec wheel here. It's like there's still some sort of signal. Either, that's odd. Alistair, I don't know. I do have my own like personal laptop there. Not the work laptop. I do have my own personal. It's a fairly low-ish spec. Like I only use it for internet browsing and stuff. Nothing too mad. I think it's like, oh, like what is it? It's a Samsung, like 8 gigs of RAM, like nothing too special. So I don't know if it would be enough to act as a stream slave kind of thing. And then, you know, I also looked into getting a streaming card, which to be honest, I'd have no issue doing. Like I'd happily go out and buy one tomorrow if I thought that these crashes like would be, you know, offset. But then when I looked more into it, people, you know, and Nvidia as well are saying that, oh hey, our GPU doesn't need a separate streaming card because guess what? Part of the GPU that you have is dedicated purely for streaming, so there's no conflict with the rendering. That's the official Nvidia line when you look into their RTX graphics cards. So now of course GPU is still being used in some way, isn't it? So I think that there has to be some sort of and there's that, look, the green light again. That's odd. The game is closed. It's crashed. So let me fire up LMU again and see does that green light clear. But yeah, it's flashed. LMU is loading up again. Will that disappear? This is so odd. It's almost like the signal that the game crashed with is still keeping an RPM light on. Yeah, the Elgato, I was looking at the Elgato box because I have two streamed. I find out now, like, so what was, like, it was 162 to 165 a moment ago, like that night with the lights and stuff. So let's see. But yeah, like there was nothing obviously different to me there. So if the right.
Logging disabled.
Hey, does the lighting look much different around the halo of the trackside lights? Probably a tiny bit more out from the light itself, if that makes sense. Frame rate now at the moment is 160, so 163, 160. Then let's check the marshal light here. It just appears like the outburst of the light is coming out more from the center of the light, if that makes sense.
The track temperature's decreasing. It's now 15 Celsius.
At least that's what it looks like. And what I'll do, actually, I'll jump back and put this post-process on high to see what frames I'm getting, but at the moment 163, 164, 162. Whoops, watch where I'm going. Then on the main straight. So the light, again, the lighting effects look to be just a bit more 159, 162, 158, 157, 160. So it's probably 157, 159. It's probably taken about 3 to 5 frames off the previous setting. Okay, so the starburst of the headlight there looks more detailed, sure. See, where's the... See the car head on, I think it was just further up the road. And the lights, the brake lights here seem to be more... Yeah, okay, so looking here, now I'm getting 132 FPS at the moment. But you can see that the headlights here, like, are I don't know how to describe it. You've got the like starburst effect kind of coming down to the left and up to the left of the left side headlight. And the same on the right side headlight, you just have like starburst streaks. You can see it there off the parking light and then off the main headlight as well. Yeah, okay, so I can see a difference straight away. Well, yeah, you can. Yeah, it feels like there's more detail in the light burst. But interesting if I was look at it front on. Yeah, I mean, like the frame rate is still pretty good. Like right now, I was at 161 FPS, 165, 161, 158. So it's bouncing around a tiny bit. Right, so this is what then high post-processing. So yeah, again. But you know, at the same time, I wonder with more cars on track, more headlights and stuff, will that add to the load? You know what I mean? So, although like with me, with one car on track at the moment, I'm seeing like very little difference. Would that be the case with more cars on track?
Disabled.
Alright, so immediately you can see starbursts coming off the lights. So this post-processing thing on high is giving way more detail to the light. Yeah, a lot more detail in the light, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, you can see it on the car there, like it's way more detailed. And even in the background, look, the lights in the background, starbursts in every direction. Which looks impressive, but also looks fake, to be honest. Because they're uniformed, all of them. So, although graphically it looks quite impressive, it doesn't look... It's too uniformed. Like, each of the starbursts have exactly the same
the track
direction.
temperature is falling. It's now 15 Celsius.
And looking at the green light here, you can see the starburst on the green light as well. Try an AA full grid. 3 classes, okay, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do a full grid. We'll do a lap and see how we get on. Frame rate wise at the moment it's still 160, 162, 161. Let's go around to the main straight then. And see the traction control light flashing there. I don't know if you picked up on it, but you could see starbursts off the traction control light. Yeah, that's quite cool. So, it seems to be like mainly lighting effects that this post-process thing seems to concern itself with. Coming onto the main straight with all the lights up above, straight ahead of us. I mean, there's a lot, way more light detail on the right side. I mean, look at that from the pits. It looks great, like, but at the same time, it looks a bit fake. Like, I mean, if we stop here, for example, right? If you see the two lights, or the 3 lights here, the first 2 just above the yellow flag warning light on the car, you can see the starburst is actually coming through into the car itself. So it's almost like the light is not contained to the outside. And then look at the one just above the mirror. Like for a starburst effect, it's too uniformed. You know, the starburst directions are very specific and they're the same length and they're the same geometry. It just doesn't look realistic. Graphically impressive, but just not. Yeah, I think racing like this would piss me off, to be honest. Yeah, let's jump around. So I'm getting 156, 160, 156, 152, 147 now. So it is taking a bit of a frame rate hit, maybe about, 8 frames-ish. And let's have a look outside the car, like we did the last time. Holy shit, like, tons of detail in the headlight. Well, let's say detail, effect, right, lots of effect. Ah, that's too much even for the small position lights on the side. That's too much. That's like it's almost to the point where you cannot see the car. Yeah, Steve, I think medium is the happy medium, no pun intended. You know, low or medium, I think both are up for it. Like I think medium fine if you want a little bit of starbursting, which I think is fine. Low probably doesn't have enough, but again, it's not really it's not a big thing. But high, I don't really like this, to be honest. Like, don't get me wrong, it's impressive that it can look like this. They can do this with the lights. But I mean, like even look here. It's like we're no longer, you know. Do you know what it feels like? It's like we're no longer looking at lights. We're looking at like stars in the sky. You know, it's just too much. It's far too much. Yeah, I mean, even look there, right? You can see what I mean. All of those lights in the view at the back of the car here, they all have the exact same geometry in the star bursting effect. Yeah. Yeah, medium and a full AI grid. Grand. Let's do that. Will we do it at Le Mans? Really fry the computer. And 3 classes, maximum cars. Return to garage. Now we can expect a huge hit here because the AI run on the CPU. Let's kill the PC. Expecting about 70 FPS. And I think I still left the post-processing thing on high, right? So we'll bring it down to medium. In the next we'll keep the same, but I want to see, like, yeah, with a full grid. So if we get 60 here with a full grid with high post-process, and then bring it down to medium, then we'll bring it down to low, just to kind of see the difference at each step. Okay, so 86, 84 FPS at the moment. Let's start driving.
Logging disabled.
Formation lab has started.
So 82 FPS, 77 right now, 79. Yeah, so high 70s to low 80s, 87 now at the moment. And see the glare in the rear view, that's too much. Now I can see that on the triple screen out to the left, and I can just see, like again, looks impressive, but just too much. Yeah, that'd be distracting, and as the car gets closer, the glare gets worse. Yeah, and it's just glaring out to my side here. Yeah, which is that'd be a bit off-putting. Yeah, 90, 93, 92 FPS. 72. So let's skip this and do the actual race start and see if the cars bunched up together. So 70 FPS at the moment. Yeah, so it's floating between 68 and 72 FPS. Then outside the car I'm getting like up to 88. But inside the car, let's say in this state, 70, 71, 72 FPS. So if I'm going to put this onto medium next, I'm just going to get to the first corner, then I'll quit and put it into medium. I just want to see, like, do we gain any frames just by turning that off, or well, not turning it off, but turning it to medium and then to low. But 63 FPS now at the moment, 64. But yeah, it's floating between like 60s to 70s, like yeah, 65 at the moment.
Green flag.
Let's go.
Green flag.
Three wide, you're in the middle, it's clear all round.
Right, let's turn off. So yeah, formation lap on the back straight around 72 FPS, and then on the start straight there, it went as low as 65 FPS. So back straight 72, main straight at the start. Yeah, 65 on high on the main straight. You know, I have to say though, even if there's no performance gain, I still would not have it on high. You know, so if my machine is able to give the same FPS, right, that we just had there, yeah, I still wouldn't have it run on high. It just doesn't feel natural, like the way those lights are. It just, yeah, it's a bit odd. Yeah, Jason, I agree. It's yeah, it's one of those. I think you're taking like photos or yeah, cinematic video or something. You want to create a bit of content. Racking it up to high can look really impressive, but practicality racing with it, I don't think would be there.
Locking disabled.
Formation lab has started.
Okay, so here we're getting 75, 72, 75, and looking the other way, we're getting 86, 83, 84, 83. Alright, so let's skip the formation lap and then we'll get a benchmark. So right now, 69, 70, 69 FPS, 68. You can see the headlights in the mirror, they're not as bad as before. Like, you could tolerate that. I think that's about fine. 72 FPS, 73. Alright. And now let's skip the formation. Oh no, sure, under formation, I'll put myself what to talk about. 71 FPS. And then the main straight we were looking at 65, wasn't it? So you know, I don't think there's going to be a difference here looking at the frame rate so far. 65 FPS here at the moment.
Green flag.
Go, go, go.
Green flag.
64 FPS. 65. 64. Yeah, okay.
Car on your left. You are clear on the left.
So 64, 65 FPS, so no difference.
Incident in sector 1, yellow flag.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I would say it was probably lost one frame. Let me just restart that because that's, you know, I'm not
Formation lab has started.
68 FPS, 66, 68, 69. Okay, so 66 to 69, and then this way is 86. Still holding 86, 85, 86. Okay, so you know, in a weird way, I'm not really surprised here, right? And the reason is, let me just skip this. The reason is because I feel with medium, this setting in medium, right, there's more detail. What I mean by that, like, if we look at this Ferrari in the mirror here, right, there's glare, a little bit of glare for sure, but there's detail. I can see the car, I can see the lights, I can make out the lights. When it was on high, all I could see was just a starburst, less detail. So I'm not shocked to find out that frame rate is worse on medium because it appears there's more detail. in the actual image. We'll try this on low again in a minute and see is there much difference. But at the minute, like 67 FPS, 66 FPS.
Green flag.
Green.
63, 65, 64, 64, 65. Yeah, okay, let's get off the track. So during that start sequence, there's no difference in frame rate between
Keep your wits about you, mate.
high and medium. No difference. If anything, I would say with medium settings on the post processor, if anything, I'd say we lost a frame or two for it to render the additional detail from medium because we have less lighting going on. Should the graphics card struggle more with lighting? And bear in mind, like, it's an RTX 3090, so those cards are supposed to be really good at, you know, ray tracing and all of that lighting effects and whatever. So I don't know if the lighting effect to that card is easier than the extra detail, but we'll find out now. Yeah, surprised at that, and like I say, it seems like when it's on high settings you get the starburst in the cockpit as well, you know, from the steering wheel lights, like the ABS or the traction control, but not the actual rev lights, which you wouldn't want. I mean, that would be overkill. Imagine like your RPM lights like starbursting. I mean, no way I'd like that at all.
Formation lab has started.
Okay, so at the minute I'm getting 144 frames.
Locking disabled.
Why am I on the bits? Let's restart. Yeah, okay. So, alright, 140 frames at the moment, just sitting here, right? Let's
Locking disabled.
Formation lab has started.
okay, so here we're getting 73, 74, 73 frames, and the opposite way we're getting 88, 87, 86, 86 frames, 85 frames. So not a huge difference. Right, so let's get to the formation lap then. So at the minute I've got 69 frames FPS, so 69, 70, 72, 71, 72, 72 still, 73, 71, okay, so 74. So the FPS, and you see, this is the thing you have to remember as well, like that. Does it do much for FPS with a full grid of cars, right? On a full grid, I can tell you that the CPU is the main bottleneck, because it's running the physics of all of the cars. So 64 FPS, 66, 64.
Go.
So still getting 64, 65 FPS. 65, yeah, so yeah, spiked up to like 67 just for a second, but yeah, look, in general there's no real difference if you're racing with a full grid and you're in the middle of that pack. Where it might be different is if you're on track on your own, but like certainly for a full grid of AI, it's all using the CPU, like it appears that the limiting factor like is not the GPU and it's not the post-processing. So yeah, it seems like
checkered flag. That's disappointing.
a lot of other PCs out there that are, you know, experiencing crashes like shouldn't be crashing on it from a resource perspective. So something else surely going on, I think, under the hood. And you know, and let's be realistic as well. Like, I mean, wanted the Discord server or the the online forum, I mean, there's just tons of game crashes being reported, so it's not like, oh, it's not random, like it's a known thing. Yeah, the AC Evo thing, I think what I've seen is going to be more of a like a driving sim, like Gran Turismo or something. That's what it looks like. Yeah, and people are going to fall into two camps, right? So if you're into cars and if you're into driving and the driving simulation, and that sort of thing, I think that'll be good. If you're into like racing and the competitive side, I think that's where LMU will probably carve out its niche. But yeah, I agree with you. Like with Studio 397, the thing with Studio 397 and R Factor 2, right? That like R Factor 2 was, like, from the outside looking in, was the most mismanaged title in the history of gaming, like, or certainly the history of sim racing, right? You've got this brilliant physics engine with some great content. You know, you've got Formula E. I think I've pretty much all of the content that's available for that. So you've got Formula E, you've got the BTCC, you've got GTEs, GT3s. If you were to go to any developer and say, hey, we're going to give you the RF2 engine, basically, and all of this licensed content, laser scan tracks, and different types of cars like Formula E, the GTE, the LMPs, and all of that, and if you don't manage to turn that into gold, then that's a complete screw up. I don't care what anyone says, that's a complete screw up. You look at Kunos, they got one license for the SRO, and they absolutely nailed it. LMU have the license for the WEC, and hopefully they nail this. But my concern only was, and probably still is to a point, is you know, I just hope they have different people making decisions, and not the older RF2 folk that make those decisions. Because yeah, RF2 like was complete, and like I'm in awe of how you screw that up. You know, it's just absolutely nuts how you drop the ball like that. Yeah, the good thing to come of it is, right, they've obviously taken that platform and brought it to LMU, and the focus seems to be back. And in a weird way, like, now that I'm playing LMU again, I've started to look a little bit at RF2 again, doing a bit of BTCC just for fun, like nothing competitive, like. But it goes to show you, like, if you focus on one particular series, like WEC, and you nail that, and you grow the ecosystem outward. If they had have done that in RF2, like, let's say, I don't know, like, probably Formula E is a bad example because not many people like them, but if you took like a GT3 series, must give might try and PM Mishi and see how he's managing to have like crashless streams, because yeah, I don't recall him crash. Like, I watched some of his stuff and I don't recall him ever crashing out of a race. So yeah, let's see. Yeah, if you're all in Discord, guys, I'll chat to you in there over the next couple of hours and tomorrow and stuff. But yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Thanks again for watching, lads, and yeah, chat soon.